you start to think that you are just trash and that you're not worth anything.
Her fear led her into depression.
There was something that came on me. It felt like an oppression.
Until she read her Bible out of desperation.
You're that thing that I've been searching for so long.
Plus, from all over the world, they're returning to Israel.
I'm Sarah from France.
Uruguay.
Córdoba, Argentina.
Russia.
Brooklyn, New York.
See the prophetic return on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. The birth of a royal baby has made front page news in recent days with photos of the happy royal couple cradling their newborn on their way home from the hospital. Well, meanwhile, another baby is fighting for his life, and 24-month-old Alfie Evans has been in a coma for a year. On Monday, Alfie was scheduled by court order to have his life support system removed against his parents' wishes.
Well, news of this reached the Vatican, and the Pope replied with this tweet: "Moved by the prayers and immense solidarity shown little Alfie Evans, I renew my appeal that the suffering of his parents may be heard and that their desire to seek new forms of treatment may be granted." Italy granted Alfie full citizenship and had a helicopter ready to transport him from Alderhay Hospital in Liverpool. But the British justices would not allow it, saying that they thought he was too sick to travel. Lord Justice Andrew McFarlane says this is in the best interest of Alfie and that the right of his parents, quote, falls into subsidiary category. Alfie surpassed expectations, surviving on his own for days, even despite a 6-hour time frame when he was neither fed nor hydrated by the medical staff. Pro-life communities have questioned Alfie's treatment. One made this statement on Twitter: "In Britain, you can fly your loved one to Switzerland to end their life. But if you try to fly your son to Italy to preserve his, the police will literally hold him hostage till he dies." Wow, that's sobering.
It's beyond sobering. It's absolutely chilling. Why in the world would you withhold food and water from an infant? That just absolutely makes no sense. And
yeah, I never understand when somebody's about to terminate someone's life, why do they care if the parents choose to try some alternate opportunity or option for care? It makes no sense.
Well, if you want to have more updates on baby Alfie, all you have to do is go to cbnnews.com. You might have heard about James Shaw Jr., who stopped a deranged gunman in a Tennessee Waffle House. But here's what you might not know. The 29-year-old hero just went hours after the incident. But despite burns and bullet wounds, James went to church with his family after being released from the hospital. The Tennessee State University graduate says that he's not a greatly religious person, but he knew there was something with him, helping him get the gun from the attacker.
I'm not a hero. I'm just a regular person. And I think anybody could have did what I did.
Well, police say he saved lives. And not only that, he set up a GoFundMe page for the victims. And so far, it's raised $150,000. And he's absolutely a hero.
Absolutely.
I don't know too many people that say, okay, the gunman just paused to reload, so now's my chance. And I'm going to grab that gun away from him. But yes, he absolutely saved lives. And he's a hero.
Talk about being strategically positioned. Yeah, God really intervened through him. Well, a beautiful photo of kindness has gone viral. A deputy police chief in Pennsylvania helping an elderly man visit his ailing wife of more than 60 years. 84-year-old Roger Baker isn't able to drive and had no way to get to the hospital. Baker didn't even know how his wife was doing at the time. He called the police for help, and Jason Bentley decided to escort Baker himself. When they arrived, an intern snapped this photo, and it's encouraged a dialogue on social media of ways to help seniors in similar situations. Precious moment.
That is a great photograph and a great illustration of how police really do help us. And what a wonderful thing. Have you ever heard the phrase, be careful of the company you keep? Well, now scientists have found proof that we should heed that word. They have found evidence for something called neural homophily, or similar brain responses to audiovisual, movies, and other material. Researchers found that responses are exceptionally similar among friends and that similarity decreases with the increasing distance in a real-world social network. This suggests we are similar to our friends in how we perceive and how we respond to the world around us. And that can be good and bad.
Just to say, okay, let me think about that.
Have you ever been around a mad mob? You know how viral that goes, and people start thinking along the same lines. At the same time, I've seen, particularly in church meetings, when everyone gets of the same mind, when you come into one accord, then amazing things can happen.
Power and unity, right? And on the topic of health, we keep finding more benefits to eating okra. I'm a northern girl. I'm not sure I'm doing this, but it's originally thought to be from West Africa and South Asia. Now okra is grown and cultivated all over the world. It's known to help cravings, fatigue, diabetes, cholesterol, brittle bones, eyesight, and immune and digestive systems. Okay, so maybe I'll change my mind. The pod of the vegetable has a greenish color and tiny seeds which can be added to broths, to stews, and to salads. Are you an okra fan?
If it's done right. If it's done wrong, there's really...
I wouldn't know right from wrong.
Okra done wrong can be gummy, and so it's... and then if it's really done wrong, it can get really bitter, which is another... But if it's done right, so
if you've got a great recipe, let us know.
It's definitely a key ingredient in jambalaya.
Oh, there you go.
So, well, coming up, they're from all over the world to a place many have never been. See why these people are flocking to Israel.
There were only about 600,000 Jews living in Palestine when Israel achieved statehood in 1948. To thrive as a new nation, it would need citizens. But where would they come from? CBN's Scott Ross takes a look at just how it happened then and today.
They come from all over the world to a place many have never been. Yet the Jewish people have longed to return to this land for thousands of years.
I'm Sarah from France.
Hi, I'm Dylan from Uruguay. I did Aliyah in December. I'm here because I love Israel.
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm from Córdoba, Argentina.
I'm Nikita from Russia.
Hi, my name is Gadi. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I made Aliyah in December. I'm a lawyer in New York, and I'm here because it's the only Jewish state there is.
It's called Aliyah, literally going up. Taken from biblical times, the term describes when people went up to Jerusalem to worship at the temple. Now it means immigrating or returning to Israel.
You're an American.
Yep.
Why did you come?
It's a beautiful country. I love it here.
Yeah, Arizona's beautiful.
Arizona is beautiful, but it's not Israel.
Last year, 27,000 new immigrants arrived in Israel, including 3,600 from the United States.
For almost 3,000 years, we were disconnected, but we were praying for Jerusalem. So it's really a gathering of exiles, and it continues every day.
I spoke with Natan Sharansky, leader of the Jewish Agency, which oversees bringing the Jewish people home.
I am very proud to be the head of the organization now, which brought 3.5 million Jews from the creation of the State of Israel.
Sharansky made headlines in the 80s as a political prisoner in the former Soviet Union. International pressure led to his release, and he immigrated to Israel in 1986.
I meet with a lot of new immigrants, and I love to be in the airport and to see this moment of them going down from the airplane, because you think that after each of these people, there are at least 50 generations of Jews who were praying and dreaming about coming to Jerusalem. And each of them is closing a huge circle of 1,000 years of exile.
Biblical prophets Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel all spoke of a time when God would bring the Jewish people back to the land of Israel. The prophet Amos says they'll never be dispersed again. Although they're part of a prophetic and exciting journey, immigrants face a whole new world when they arrive.
Some of the people left everything. left the friends, left families, left the smell, the food, the jobs, all the things that they knew, they're coming here and they start a new life.
That's why the state works to create a smooth transition. Ziva Avrahami leads Beit Canada, Opan Etzion, an absorption center in Jerusalem. New immigrants live here free for 5 months so they can focus on learning Hebrew and living in Israel.
We call them the first home in the homeland. They're coming here and they have like a soft landing. They don't need to be afraid from things. We help them to be part of Israel, but step by step.
How important is it that they learn Hebrew?
The main reason that the people are here in this absorption center is to get to know the language. The Hebrew is the key to the Israeli society. If you want to be part of Israel, if you want to be the leader of this beautiful country, you need to know the language.
Opan Etzion is mainly for millennials who have a university degree. You could say it's like a prophetic melting pot.
Are there conflicts between them, culturally, socially, adapting and adjusting to one another?
Yes. They're different people for different places. The culture is different. The language is different. So to put together 250 young adults in one place, you can imagine what's going here in the evenings. A lot of people are becoming friends for life.
Do the majority of them then stay in Israel?
The first year and the second year are the hardest one. And if you survive the 2 years, people are staying in Israel. This is going to be their home.
I spoke with some of the students about their experiences.
It's the land of the Jewish people, and that is why I'm here. I want to essentially come home and to be with my fellow Jews and to please God find a Jewish husband.
Why did you come?
Well, I came to Israel because I feel this is the homeland of the Jewish people, and for the first time in 2,000 years we have our own homeland and we can build a prosperous Jewish state, and I think that's very exciting to be a part of.
What kind of work would you like to get into?
I studied accounting and finance, so hopefully something in that area.
Do you want to get married?
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm here in Israel. There's plenty of beautiful Jewish girls, and let's hope I can find one of them.
As Sharansky prepares to leave his role, I asked if he thought all the Jewish people need to come home.
Our prophets speak about it very clearly, about this grand design of ingathering of the people of Israel in the land of Israel. And I want to help the people to make this decision not by giving orders, not by pushing them, even not by shaming them, but simply by giving them the feeling how good it is.
Scott Ross for CBN in Jerusalem.
You know, you feel such admiration for those who make that decision because of the difficulty, and then you feel kind of concerned for them because of all the elements that they are not yet aware.
You were very concerned as that piece was running. How are they going to find jobs? Where are they going to live? What happens after the 6 months?
God looks after them. Well, it is an amazing story of how they have populated
the happy anniversary, Israel. I mean, it's been an amazing 70 years since the formation of the modern state of Israel. And it's also wonderful how much they're finding out about the Israel of the first century. And they're rediscovering the water wells, they're rediscovering the irrigation channels, they're making the desert bloom again. All the great technology coming out of Israel, all the great humanitarian work coming out of Israel. Yeah, it's a modern day miracle.
Amazing place to visit, really is. Well, coming up, the dark secret hidden within one child's innocent game.
I would say, I need to go play into the woods, and she would know, or vice versa.
See what they were trying to escape from when we come back.
From the time when she was just 3 years old, Tina lived in fear. Dad wasn't around, and Mom was known to just disappear for most of the day. So Tina was powerless to stop from being sexually abused by a sibling. This trauma haunted her for decades until she learned that she had a hope and a future.
It was always after something horrible happened. I would say, I need to go play into the woods, and she would know, or vice versa.
Tina Beauchamp and her twin sister played their game of make-believe often, one pretending to be lost, the other coming to her rescue. More than a game, it was an escape from a sexually and physically abusive sibling.
It was very confusing because as a little kid, you have really no idea what's going on. As you get a little older, this isn't right. Something's wrong here. And you start to think that you are just trash and that you're not worth anything.
Tina grew up in a poor neighborhood in California with a single mother of 5. She hardly knew her father. Their mother neglected them, and the only attention she gave came through harsh discipline.
I just remember just being sad all the time. It's like, where is that love? You get up every day and you're a shell of a person. There's nothing to look forward to.
The one time Tina worked up the nerve to say something about the abuse, her mother did nothing about it.
It is the ultimate betrayal, and it is almost as though that's it. If your own mother won't defend you or try and do something about it, it confirms in your mind that you are worthless.
The sexual abuse stopped when Tina stood up to her abuser at age 10, but the chaos and physical abuse at home continued. At 13, she downed a bottle of aspirin trying to escape the pain. When that failed, she turned to promiscuity, drugs, and alcohol.
It was like, oh my gosh, this thing is, I'm numb when I'm doing this. I was much more free. I was able to laugh. Things became funny.
At 16, with no ambitions or hope for her future, she dropped out of school. And at 18, she married a physically and verbally abusive man.
The day we got married, something sort of broke in me, and I remember just breaking down and crying. And the people that were there thought, oh, she's so happy, she's crying. That's not why I was crying. I was crying because I felt like I had sealed my fate. Like, well, this is the best I can do. This is what I'm good for, is to be abused.
They moved to the East Coast to be closer to her husband's family. After earning her GED and landing a job in banking, Tina poured herself into her work.
I would go to work and I would do an excellent job because I wanted that praise. My bosses always loved me, so that became my new drug, my new escapism.
Afraid her husband would hurt her if she tried to leave, she endured the marriage. After 9 years, 2 of her sisters gave her the courage and a plane ticket to leave and fly back to California. But soon she was back to finding escape through drugs and unhealthy relationships.
At this point, I'm still trying to fill myself with something. And all this other stuff over here to the left is not working. It works temporarily, but it wears off.
In her 30s, Tina decided to volunteer at a local church's ministry, thinking that helping others might fill the void. She even began attending Sunday services on occasion. Then one morning, she woke up, feeling a darkness she'd never felt before.
There was something that came on me. It felt like an oppression. And I had been depressed before, so I knew what that felt like. This was very different. I woke up with it, I was at work with it, and it really is hard to describe because it is such a dark place.
The feeling got worse, and she decided to go to a woman's Bible study. The study was on the book of James.
Because this darkness, this oppression was so severe, I said, I've got to try it. I have to try something. I'm desperate. This darkness is on me, even though I'm opening the Bible up. They asked me to read, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, okay. So as soon as I started reading James, that oppression went away. And that darkness never came back.
Wanting to know more, she started digging into the Bible for answers. One night, she arrived early to Bible study and noticed a scripture reference on the board.
Oh, Jeremiah 29:11. Okay, so I looked it up, and it was like, that was written for me. I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. And I thought, oh my gosh, you really are pursuing me.
Finally, she understood that her only hope would come through salvation in Jesus Christ. Soon after, she made a decision.
All that stuff that happened to me in the past, he's renewed me as his daughter. And what Jesus did on the cross, him going step by step, carrying that cross for us, it hit me in that moment, and I fell down on my knees. Jesus, no matter what happens in this life, and no matter what has happened in this life, you're it. You're it for me. You're that thing that I've been searching for so long.
After giving her life to Christ, she realized she still needed to heal from her past. She sought counseling from a Christian therapist and asked God for help.
I remember my first counseling appointment, and I said, Jesus, please come with me. Well, he was already there, but hold my hand. I need for you to hold my hand going in here.
As she grew in her faith, Tina overcame the hurt from her past. She now works with victims of human trafficking and has plans to open a women's shelter. She says that Jesus took away all of her pain and gave her purpose instead.
He's using what I went through to help women now that don't know him, that don't feel that they have value or worth. And I'm there to say that you do. You absolutely do.
God gives you value. And when you understand that you're worth what Jesus paid for, you're worth that price. He paid the ultimate price so that you could be restored to him. We go through life and some bad things can happen to us. And for Tina, some really bad things happen. And through that, she took on an identity that the only thing that she was good for was to be abused. Well, God never intended that for Tina. That wasn't his plan and purpose for her. That wasn't the hope and the future he had in mind for her. But here's the good news, that even though these things happen to us, even though we do bad things, God doesn't give up on us. Think about this. Think about how God created the plan of salvation. He created a way out. He created a good path for you before you were even born. And he chose you and says, I want to show forth my glory in you. Now, here's a lesson for us. It comes from the Apostle Paul. Here's someone, he wasn't abused, he was the abuser. And you've got to look at both sides of this. Yes, there are victims of abuse, but the abusers too, what do they carry? What kind of guilt and shame do they have? Well, here's the Apostle Paul says, I was an injurious man, is the word in the New King James. I was injurious. I was mean. I dragged women off to prison. I put them in chains. I persecuted the church. But then, when it pleased God, he showed up for me. That's what Paul said. He showed up for me and he changed me. And then Paul is able to write, behold, all things are made new. Now, if that can happen to Paul, if that can happen to someone who put women and men in chains and had them beaten, what can God do for you? How can he transform you? How can he give you a hope and a future? Now, how do you get this? Well, you do it the same way Tina did it. It started with her reading aloud from the book of James. And that was a transformative experience. Here it is. Here's the prayer for you. Jesus, if you're real, if you're there, could you show me? And if you pray that with all of your heart, he'll show up. And then do exactly what Tina did. Get a Bible and ask God to show you what verses to read, where to start, and then start reading them out loud and have that renew your mind. Paul talked about how Scripture literally renews your thinking, renews what you think about yourself. For Tina is the wonderful verse from Jeremiah, I have a hope and a future for you. What verse will God show you? So do it today and realize that He loves you. He came just for you. If you need prayer, we're here for you. All you have to do is call us, 1-800-700-7000. Here's a word: be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you.